Oh, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is another beautiful day starting out anyways here in the Philippines. It is 5:59 a.m. and we are going to have to see what happens. We're going to say. So I want to make sure of a couple of things. First off, moderators that are in the room, please, I don't want you to ban anybody. Put them in timeout. Feel free to delete a jerky comment, all right, or whatever. But I don't want to ban John's subscribers or supporters because they don't know the truth. They don't know the truth. And so then maybe later, another day, once the truth is out there, they can decide to still be a troll. All right. But that's fine. That's fine. The second thing is the way we're going to run this is real simple. What we're going to do is I'm going to allow John to cam up with his face and we will go through the issues. And when we go through those issues, there'll be nobody else cammed up. Now, if John doesn't cam up, well, we're going to open the panel and we've got some surprises. We've got some big surprises. We've got a couple bombshells. This has gone on long enough and people are exactly where it's going to be. So we'll let the chips fall. I mean, maybe I'm just an oversensitive guy. Maybe that's the problem. Or maybe John's a liar, a scammer, all right, an e-beggar, a con man, and an absolute asshole. But I'm giving him the opportunity to say otherwise. So let me see here. First things first, I've got to put this up. Okay? So, John, that's the link. And if you follow that link and you've done it before, don't make excuses. You've done it before and cam up. So let's go say hello to everybody who's here. Pablo Chicano. Okay, I have to readjust this. I hope that's not going to be a problem with some of my other, wow. Man, hang on, Pablo. I got to fix this. Hang on. And we'll do this. I apologize. Okay. So, Pablo, actually, the British expat speaks very well. You know what, John? I never said he didn't have an eloquent, articulate delivery of vocabulary. Never, not once. Wow. I guess people are interested. 50 plus in the room in the first 3 minutes. Wow. All right. But yeah, Pablo, he can deliver, he can orate very well. He's very good at speaking with his lies. D Webb, good morning, D Webb. How you doing, Big Dave? Thanks for dropping in. Pablo, thank you for dropping in. Top of the morning. Some D Webb. Slick Rick from San Francisco. Good morning, Slick Rick. Good to see ya. Hi, Lionel Humphreys. Okay. Slick says, and he agrees, Pablo, he can when he's not rambling on. Yeah, he does. And I'm not going to allow him to ramble. I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to do it, but we're just going to be able to do what we do. Okay? Michael Atos, I've got my money on Mike. It's not that, okay? Let's not make this something that it's not. I'm going after John. I'm going to set the record straight because that's what he said he was doing in his video, was setting the record straight. And I think I owe it up to all of you to set the record straight and give him an opportunity, the opportunity he didn't give me. When he attacked my wife, he attacked my daughter, he attacked me, he attacked my lifestyle. It's a big deal. Tim Deziak, hello. ¿Qué tal, Pablo? ¿Cómo está, hermano? There we go. Sup, D-Web. The bald guy. I wish I had hair. John has a beautiful head of hair, doesn't he? Not me. Not me. Mirror, mirror on the wall, where is the grumpy one of them all? I have no idea, but we're going to give him time to have a little coffee. We'll give him a few minutes, but after we say hello, I've got more to let you know. All right? I hope this boxing match. Nah, there's nothing physical here, Michael. Nothing physical here at all. John, come out and ring Mike's bell. Yeah, come on. Show me where I'm wrong, John. All right? Because I'm certainly going to show you where you're wrong. Live from Manila, the jungle. No, not Manila. But yeah, I actually remember that fight. All right? I was a young guy when that came on. Ali, what was that? Wasn't that Ali Frazier? I can't remember, but the Rumble in the Jungle. Lionel Humphreys, good morning, Lionel. How are you? Phil McLeod, round one. Hey, good morning, Phil. Thank you for dropping in. Then this ball, no, I'm under 245 now, Michael. I am less than 245. Okay? Not by much, I'll be honest. Okay? I wouldn't lie to you about it. Bobby Gill, good morning. OPJ. Smooth Lee coming in from Las Vegas. How's things in beautiful Las Vegas, young Mr. Lee? S. Ferris, good morning. Good morning, Scott. How are you? Lowell Matheson, good morning from Oregon. God bless it. Good morning, Lowell. Thank you so much for dropping in. I really appreciate it. So far, no skinny Brit. Like I said, we're going to give him time. And, we've posted the link. And moderators, if you want, you can copy that link and repost it every 3, 4, 5 minutes. Sub Smooth, good to see you. Lionel. Mike K, 8816. Good morning, Mike. Thank you for dropping in. People all saying hello to everybody. Ronald Country Boy, he says he's not coming to the live. So if he chooses not to come to the live, that's not going to stop me from telling the truth. It's not going to stop me from showing you the lies. And it's not going to stop me from dropping bombshells. I'll go into that in a couple minutes. Let me just get started here with saying hello to everybody. Bruce Cinder, good morning, Bruce. I hear that John will be here to record and has no intention to join the discussion. At least that's what he has said. Oh, I'm sure he's here. I'm sure he's in there. I'm sure he's screen recording all of it. That's fine. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, McLovin. And we're going to get into that too. You better screen record it, John. Bridge Expat speaks well. Yeah, Pablo. He speaks well. He's a good orator. In CDL school, I don't need to know the truth. I enjoy both of your channels. He calls you Uncle Fester. You put an image of him missing teeth. It's entertaining. You know what? I look like Uncle Fester sometimes. All right? That's fine. I don't care. Makes no difference to me. Bill, good morning. How are you? Thank you for dropping in. Do I still? Yeah, Tim, you got plenty of time. Cam up, big boy. Maya McLovin says, John's hiding in the John with his pants around his ankles. Nah, John is sitting, drinking his coffee, all right? Or he'll just come back and watch it later. Or he'll show up. Whichever one. I don't care. And I also enjoy the cultural differences about, well, you know what though, CDL? You would enjoy the cultural differences if he told you the truth. If he told you the truth. And we are going to tell you the truth. And we are going to back it up. That looks good. Good morning, Tim. Bobby, he said he's running late because he's at the dentist. Okay. We don't even need, Bobby, I can understand it. I truly can. All right. But I'm not going after him for that. That's all there is to it. Farsight 453. There was a TV science fiction movie. Wasn't it called Farsight? I used to enjoy that. Maybe it was something else though. I don't remember. Good morning, Mike from sunny Henderson, Nevada. Oh, one of Smooth Lee's neighbors. Good morning. Chicker choking. Not going to be any violence. Not from me anyways. Big Kev? Oh my God, Big Kev never comes by here. Good morning, Big Kev. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you for dropping in. Chicken choker, Kevin, hope the stairs don't keep you. Mango in cash, thriller in Manila. The thriller, yeah. I mean, you know what? John is not going to like a lot of what I say. Okay? It's that simple. We're going to tell the truth. We're going to show you where he scammed, where he lied, where he was a predator. We're going to show you all of these things. Or at least in my opinion. How about that? Chicken choker. That's the thriller in Manila. Henderson, Rainbow Casino. Potato boats are the best. I'm not sure what that is. Bill says, I couldn't imagine if you two were neighbors. Well, we would never be neighbors. I can tell you that right now. Not unless he found another elderly woman to scam and move into her house. All right? Not going to happen. Oh, Smoothly, that's right. He's in Cebu now. Or last I heard he was in Cebu. Thank you. Good morning from Rhode Island. Oh, the best. What was it? I used to, when I was in Boston, I had a friend that was from Providence, Rhode Island. And we used to go down, to Providence, Rhode Island and get Red Hots, which is different than a regular hot dog. They were pretty good. I like Providence. We will call it the ass whooping in Angeles. Oop, bum, 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 bum. Okay, I have to keep an eye out on my phone, the messenger, because expecting different people, number one. Number two, people letting me know whether my volume, my audio is working at all. Rob Sells, Mexico. Good morning from Playa del Carmen. Beautiful down there, Playa del Carmen. Been there a few times. John is live with the antics lady. Somehow I doubt that, Michael, but you never know. Eaton Beaver. Make a pot of tea and put Coronation Street on telly. It's getting started. I don't know. We'll see whether John shows up. I have my doubts. I'm not going to lie to you. I have my doubts. He knows that we have a lot of information about him. And the amount of information we've been given, all right, the number of people. So over the years, I've received correspondence and interacted with people in England, all right, in the UK, all right, in England specifically, I think pretty much England, all right, Australia, New Zealand, Bulacan, and Nagilian about John. And we're just going to say, hey, this is it. Chicken choker, I cleared my VeggieTales schedule for this. VeggieTales. I think, wasn't that a kid's show I used to watch with my daughter? Dentist sounds likely. If you have dentures, you don't need a dentist, do you? Michael, John is bitter about how much money expats get in retirement. John is bitter about many things. Many things. All right? It is much deeper than just that. Much deeper. We need Philly Brian here to moderate and keep the AOs in line. Brian can't make it this morning. He and Lot are doing something. He already told me in advance. But you know what? I'm not sure, because John did call Brian a bully, a wannabe cop bully. John is running scared like the Brits did at Dunkirk. Oh. John is bitter that he was left out of his mom's inheritance. Oh, that's only a part of it. And I have some vital information about that. All right. I have some significant information about that. Why bring on a hater? If you like drama, bring Heidi back and knock some holes in her story. Well, LG, you know what? Heidi didn't attack my wife. Heidi didn't attack my daughter. And Heidi didn't attack me. So, I believe Smooth Lee is there fundraising for his friend. I was born, Brockton, Big Kev, Brockton, Mass. I know exactly where that is. So, when I was doing a fellowship up in Mass General, all right, for a while, I actually lived in New Bedford, which, of course, you know, Mass General, it's in Boston proper, all right? But I used to go through Brockton once in a while. I got to admit, it wasn't the most desirable area per se back in those years, but that was a long time ago. I'm sure it's gotten better. Because Massachusetts was a beautiful state. Absolutely beautiful. Bruce Cinder, that's why D-Web and I are here. Yep, absolutely. Be free. Let the truth be told. Mike, here's my secret. I strive to be dark-winged duck, but I have failed. It's okay, chicken choker. You know, we all strive. We don't always make it to our objectives in life. And that's part of what John's bitter about. Good morning from Maine, another beautiful place. Black is a predator. Oh my, it's a possibility. I consider him a predator. Okay. And I'll tell you why once we get this motivated here. I hear that the people clearing out the collapsed building are complaining of stench now coming from the rubble. I don't know about that, Bruce. It's quite simple. I wouldn't doubt it. It's been hot as hell. I also understand that yesterday they announced that they think they heard some signs of life. I can't understand how. Mike, you're talking about hot wieners. Maybe that's what they were, hot wieners, but they were not hot dogs, but they were yummy. Hope you and Arlen are well. Sorry for this drama. It's no big deal. Red snappers, not red hots on the Cape. The Cape. Used to love the Cape. I used to go to Martha's Vineyard a lot. Catch the ferry. Used to catch the ferry right there at the port in New Bedford. and then head up to the Cape, head up to Martha's Vineyard. But I've been to a couple places on the Cape. Upstate New York has White Hots, best dogs. Oh, yummy. I'm not so sure John's at the dentist. I hear that those from England don't visit the dentist. Nah, plenty of people in England have it. Good. So yeah, we're going to tell the truth. We're going to tell you all the things that we've been able to verify. We're going to tell you a little bit about what's been alleged, and we're going to tell you about some other things. And we may actually have a guest that's very, very familiar with John. Okay? And hey, that's just what it is. Pablo, I missed that. My guess, John is estranged from his channel. Yes, and we're going to go through that, through the vast majority of them. Okay? I'm sure John seems to have an issue with Americans and veterans. I wonder why veterans. Well, because John was honorably discharged under medical conditions from the Aussie military because of his hearing. 80 people here. Which city? Salem, Massachusetts. Michael Brio, thank you so much for dropping in. Okay. Maybe John is bitter about USA vets because they lost the Revolutionary War. I have no idea what his problem. I mean, I know what he says, but it doesn't make any sense. So, you know what? I'm going to stop. Let me go here. Wait a minute. Ernst, Ranger for Collectors. Family is family. We know better. Some don't. He should have known better. And that's right. He should have. He absolutely should have. And so let's talk about John for a few minutes. Let's talk about what we do know, what we think. John made a video. He went after my daughter. John went after not just my daughter. He went after Arlene and everything else. Now, John runs a channel telling you and his subscribers how to interact with Filipinas, how to have a relationship with women, how to have a relationship with Filipinas. All right. He talks about all of these things. Well, John, you know what? You've been divorced 3 or 4 times. I can't remember which. All right. So let's just talk about John for a second. So John comes from a crazy, this started out with me saying that John was born with a silver spoon. In fact, you know what? Let's do this. Hold on just a second. We're going to set this up. All right. So here we are. I have this spot reserved over here for John. You see, John, we're holding your spot for you. Okay. We're holding it. And I will post the link again, just in case. Okay, so let me redo that. Okay, so looking at the video that John put out, well, the first thing we have to look at is when he starts to go after my daughter. All right, calling my daughter disadvantaged. I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not sure what he's talking about, but I don't think any parent wants to hear negative things about their child that aren't true. My daughter's not disadvantaged. She's not handicapped. She's not on the spectrum or anything like that. So you're wrong there, John. That's another big old lie. Okay, but hey, what can we say? That's just the beginning. So then at the 1 minute mark, he says, hey, if you need to support your child when they finally leave university, because he's going into the fact that I give my daughter support. Okay. with school, with housing, with incidentals, and everything that goes along with that. Well, and then he knows that my daughter's already graduated, 4 years of college, undergraduate degree. All right. Now in veterinary school at a vet college, a veterinary private college on the East Coast, which we'll keep that out. All right. And she's in a five-year program, 6-year program. I can't remember which one it is. And she will graduate with a doctorate in veterinary medicine and a PhD as well. All right. Now, she's still in university, John. Why are you giving me a hard time about supporting my child? Oh, let me tell you. Well, that's because you didn't support any of your children. That's why. You didn't support your children. All right. You're estranged from the vast majority, if not all but one of them. Okay. And the one child that you interact with on occasion, okay, you did a great job with. All right. Here's my child going to vet school, already graduated from undergraduate school. And here's John's kid who's already been to jail for a drug conviction that he pled down from being a drug dealer. Okay? He's, yet that's kind of maybe what happens when you don't try and ensure the future of your child. I would parent in there. If you are a parent, if you have children and you have been with these children, all right, you not only have a responsibility to support them as a minor, but you also have I would think you have a moral obligation to support them so that they have every tool that's possible that you can afford, that you can put in place, all right, to ensure their future, a better future, a future that's brighter than yours, a life that's, I don't know of any parent that doesn't want their children to have a better life than they had. Let me know if I'm wrong. Okay, let me see. Now we're going to redo this just a little bit here because I want to let me see, because this I could not adjust last night when I set this up. I couldn't adjust this. And we will fit it in here. Just bear with me for a minute, folks. Bear with me. I didn't have an opportunity to do that last night. There. So hopefully that's where your comments are going to show up. We'll see. John seems to have an issue with Americans, and I wonder why veterans. I don't know. I can't. I just don't know. All right. But for him to go after my daughter and for him to then say, why should you support, any child that needs to be supported? Well, she's still in university, John, and you know it. You know it. Okay. Chicken choker. Let me put this back where it should be. South Yarmouth Port. Yep, I've been there. Okay, let us move on here, okay? Then what happens? Well, yeah. So he starts off that It's not a silver spoon in his ass. It's a silver spoon in their mouth. Yeah, John, I know that. Okay. But I think it was shoved up your ass because of how you reacted. All right. I can't help that this silver spoon turned into a rusty nail. I can't. But here's the crazy part. People, when I say John was born with a silver spoon, it's an understatement. You cannot even begin to believe how much of a silver spoon John was born with. Okay. Now, I'm not going to give out the family name. I'm not going to give out, all right, anything like that. What I am going to do is tell you very simply, John was sent to one of the most prestigious private schools in all of England. His adopted family owned railroads, hotels, resorts, property, the whole 9 yards. Now, he was literally kicked out of all of that. You had to be quite an asshole to be out of the entire family. Okay? And it's not so much that he was kicked out, he chose to do that. John never graduated from high school. John dropped out of high school. He had a pen pal in New Zealand, a girl, because you got to remember, this is way before the internet. All right. And he went to New Zealand at 17 and a half years old, dropped out of high school, never graduated from high school. And his mother did not cancel his return trip ticket. His mother never gave him one. He was given a one-way ticket and some cash. All right. And that is what it is. Okay. We're talking about crazy rich Asian money here. Way big, way big. Okay. So that's the first thing people need to understand. But that doesn't get into what it is nowadays. That doesn't get into where he is now and what he's been through and everything that goes with everything else. Pablo, there should be an option for you to click on the live option if you're 5 minutes behind. There you go. I just moved the red dots to the end, so I'm live now. Okay, good. If it wasn't for the advertisement, he would be German. Let's see here. I'm going to scroll. Yes, and Pablo said, yeah, John said Arlen does not like. And that's something we'll cover a little bit later. Okay? That is something we will cover a little bit later. So we'll go on through. Chicken Choker, Australia is 3 most inhospitable people coming above India. That says something. I don't know. I have Australian friends here. And they're fine. They're absolutely fine. All right. Now, let us get rid of that. And we'll bring up the next one. So then he says, oh, yay, Mike, you say, you put yourself, struggled like millions of others. No, John, I struggled to do and accomplish what I've accomplished, just like tens of millions of other people. All right. Did you not struggle, John? Do you know anybody that didn't struggle? I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody or anyone you can give an example of that hasn't struggled in life. Now, perhaps they didn't struggle to get a meal. Perhaps they didn't struggle to pay the bills. You can have emotional setbacks. Even millionaires have emotional setbacks. All right, the whole 9 yards. So that's just the bottom line. John is pissed about the amount of disability money USA vets get each month. He's upset with anybody that has money. He's one of the most jealous people. He says he's not jealous. He says he's happy the way he is. Well, yeah, when you can beg from all your people around you, when you can get people to say, loan me the money and then never pay them back, and we'll get into that as well. Mike D, you heard his feelings with the silver spoon remark. It hit a nerve. Yeah, it did. It did. It brought up his mommy issues. It brought up the big problems that he has. So these palms are just retarded. It's the DNA. I don't know. I've got Australian friends that are great. I've got British friends that are great. John said he was born poor but got adopted into wealth, and the silver spoon was not up where the sun don't shine, but he admits he had. He had a privileged life provided by an American woman. You know what, Bruce? Yes, it wasn't just privileged, okay? And he threw all that away. Or maybe he was just such an asshole kid, all right, such an ungrateful little shit, just like he is as an adult, all right, that they disowned him. They said, go, be gone, all right? They took him on trips all through Europe. They did this, they did that, big deal. My daughter here has severe cerebral palsy, so he has issues with children who have disabilities. Nobody's business, okay? What a person gives their children, young or old. No, it's not. It really isn't. And I don't say how much my daughter gets. Ty Beck. Most normal people support their children. Oh, yeah. That's what I thought. I thought that was being normal, that if I had the money, why wouldn't I support my children? But it goes a step further, because then he goes after Arlene later, okay? So then we get into this next piece. So I had done a video, and this is what prompted part of this. I'd done a video where I accidentally made a mistake on my taxes. Okay? I made a mistake. It was my fault. I admitted it was my mistake. I said it was a 5-figure bill that I owed. I underpaid my taxes in 2023, and I owed 5 figures. Okay? So that's like anything over $1,000. All right? So 5 figures, over, let's see here. Okay, five figures though. 5 figures. Because I don't want to say how much it was. All right, but John says I had a 6-figure bill. Again, see, so what happens is John, although he does admit he has a hearing impediment, he skims through videos, selectively picks pieces, and then makes shit up. All drama for his channel. All drama. So I owed, you got to admit, there's a whole big difference between owing $10,000, all right, and $100,000. Those are the minimums for 5 and 6 figures. Good God, John. All right. That video was to show people, hey, you should be prepared for emergencies. You should be prepared for all of these other things. Follow up on your taxes, everything else. Okay? But obviously not. He's always talking about the ivory tower. If he feels insecure where he lives on the surface, I'm sure he can afford to move. No, he can't afford to move. He doesn't pay rent where he's at, and he didn't pay rent where he was before. And we're going to go through that as well. All right? So let me move on to the next item. Because there's a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about that's not even at this point in time, it is not yet ready to bring up. All right. But this is just pertaining to this last video. So then he starts bragging about how he had 9,000 subs. Okay, fine. Who cares? Obviously, you feel the need to show you're better. That's okay. So this is where we start to see the insecurity that John has. On the one hand, he hates people who have the financial means to live the way they want to live if it's not the way he wants to live. And then on the other hand, he's like, but I'm better. Look, I had 9,000 subscribers. You don't. Okay, great, John. It's not, YouTube, like you said, it's a hobby. It's an absolute hobby. But he loves to go after me. So then at the 7-minute mark, 7:40, he's talking about why call it Our Philippine Journey. This is when he starts to go into Arlen, when it's just me. John, there are literally tons of videos with my wife in them. When we went Thailand, when we go to Thailand, numerous trips, Bohol, Boracay, all around, all right, building the house, all kinds of stuff. Arlen doesn't do talking head videos. She doesn't like the interaction. She doesn't like all the bullshit that comes out of the trolls. Okay? And you're one of those people that represent that, a lying troll, except I don't really think that's accurate. I don't think I should be calling John a troll. He's just a lying con man. And that's just all there is to it. So John calls me a complaining baby boomer. All right. John's also a baby boomer, dumbass. You're a baby boomer, John, and you complain more about everything. I don't complain. What am I complaining about? I have a great life. I have a beautiful wife that loves me. All right. We have a great relationship. I have a beautiful child. And I can afford the lifestyle that we live. And it's the lifestyle that we want. But look at John. John is a so Arlen has sent me a message saying, yeah, I hate John. He has nothing but hate to say. Okay? All he talks about is hate. But yeah, it is that simple. You're a baby boomer too, dumbass. I'll tell you, the juicy stuff, we've still got that. But we do have some issues in common. Yes, we do, John. So let's just go into that for a few minutes. Okay? Now, number one, my mother was an immigrant. Okay? My mother was born in France, south of Lyon. She immigrated when she was an infant to, I think she was about a year old, to Canada. And I don't know exactly, okay, I have to plead ignorance on a few things. I never delved deeply into this with my mom, but this is what essentially happened. My mom's mom, my grandmother, was unable to care for my mom. So my mom calls it a nunnery. And in Canada, apparently, in those days, there were places that would accept children to look after them for a certain amount of time, like up to a couple years, all right, while the single moms, all right, or parents could take care of getting on their track to take care of their children. My grandmother then got her life in order, pulled my mom out. My mom eventually became a Canadian citizen, and then my mom actually, my grandmother, her mother actually married an American eventually. And my mom then went through family migration, I guess is what the immigration people call it nowadays. And at that point, my mom became a U.S. citizen. So no, John, even though you made these comments about, you came over on the Mayflower, your ancestors came over on the Mayflower, the Pinta, Maria, and whatever. All right. No. My family didn't come over. My father is a first generation American citizen. His parents immigrated from Greece in whenever, and he was born in the U.S. Okay. Now, with that being said, I am the byproduct of an immigrant. No big deal. But no, we didn't all come over on the Mayflower, John. Our descendants did not. And we did not come from Britain, all right, or Australia. We did not. Okay? So don't just start that shit. So then he goes into this thing about his family. And nobody has an issue with the fact that you were adopted by a wealthy family. It was not your choice. No, you don't. You cannot deny it's a fact, though. You can't deny that you had a failed relationship with your adoptive parents, all right? You can't deny that, you failed at everything that they gave you, all right? All of the tools and everything else that they provided for you, all right? You can't deny those things, John. But nobody has a problem that you were adopted. Who gives a shit? I got no idea. Really and truly, I do not. So let's read a couple comments here. Well, maybe Heidi could be the exception to the rule on that one. I don't know what it is, Leo, but okay. Any parent who can afford it would help their kids go to college or go to a trade school. I would think so. I would certainly think so. Andy on Mockdown, can I ask, is your daughter your bio offspring? Yes, of course. Yes. She is my biological from ex-wife number 2, my only child. Yes, she is my daughter biologically, without a doubt. Captain Billy Jack, hello, Mike. Is it true that Candy Towers is made 100% pure ivory? Not just pure ivory, Billy. All right, it's made with the best ivory. None of that cheap ass shit in, ivory, if there's any such thing. That's a funny comment. Thanks. We live to make sure our children have a better life than we had. I don't care how old my older sons get. They need help. I'm there. Yeah, exactly, Mango. All right, exactly. But according to John, that's not the way it is. And, maybe we should have a conversation with John about all the no child support he provided over the years. Chicken Choker, to be morally behind justified by 2 things. Lactose intolerance, small penis will early. Okay, Chicken Choker. Yesterday, my nephew and his girlfriend graduated from university with a civil engineering degree, both with 3.9 GPAs. Money well spent. Exactly, Michael. Exactly. Release the Jeff Epstein files, the thumbnail of his missing teeth. That cracked me up. Well, hey, it is what it is. I have a big gap between my 2 front teeth. Mike says, John's issue with American veterans comes from bitterness. Most Americans hold veterans in high regard. Yeah, absolutely. We do. I don't know any American that hates veterans. I really don't. But that started with a big argument. There were 2 things that happened here, of which I'll touch on. So John did a video years ago talking about American pensions and how U.S. veterans, if they had the luxury of being hurt, all right, during service to their country, they would receive disability on top of retirement pay, on top of their Social Security. And that's, just too much money. And I took offense to that because, these people put their life on the line. Maybe there are veterans that did their entire career with never being in a war zone or during wartime, but it could have been at any time. Now, I had a personal problem with it because of something that happened to an uncle of mine with respect to Vietnam. All right. But either way, I went into that. But then he goes into, and they get all these special privileges. They get these cheap SRRVs here in the Philippines. Well, that goes to show you how little John knows. All right. How little John knows about his situation. Okay. Yes, you get as a military veteran with an honorable discharge. Okay. You get from it's like $1,500 to get a SRRV, $1,400 to apply or reversed, whatever. But it also applies to Australia. And John has an honorable discharge under medical conditions from Australia. He could have gotten the same thing, but he doesn't know this stuff. And that's why I'm saying he's so full of shit. He has so little information. All right. It's, he spent, well, we'll get into some of the other stuff. Okay. All this wealth and removed from family to retire YouTube. I support this. All right. I'm not retired. I'm not removed from my family. My daughter's going to be here next week. Okay. I fly my daughter to the Philippines every summer. Every summer. Okay. She'll be here in a week and a half. How old is John? He needs to get his choppers repaired. They're brand new. Release Jeff. All right. They're brand new. He just got them this year. He is 78 years old. He had a birthday, I think, about a week ago. Till the Brits leave Northern Ireland, I have no use for any of them. Oh, that's pretty political. I don't know how all that works. And I invited John to contact me and say, John, I would like to try and understand more from your perspective about politics and parts of Britain and the UK and Ireland, but he never responded. He is bitter about not getting an inheritance. It burns him up every now and then, Mike K. He feels betrayed in a sense, my guess. He's bitter about, he has so many mommy issues. He's had 4 wives, I think 4 wives, maybe 3, but I'm pretty sure 4. And, while he may have been reasonably successful in his careers as a craftsman and a farmer and whatever, they didn't leave him with much, apparently. I never understood what the fascination is with other expats' wives. Seems weird to me. No kidding. What's the big deal about going out? I mean, why go after my wife? It's just pure jealousy. Yeah, it is. It is. Maybe misused his gerbil like, okay, chicken choker. He foolishly built a house in the Philippines for some spank and got kicked out. He failed. Okay, so let me be clear about this. So what happened here, and I'm not going to mention her name because there are some issues that are on the horizon that are coming up. But, so his partner at that time, the girl that he met her on date in Asia, flew to the Philippines, okay, went straight up there, moved into her onto her very, very Filipino home, All right. Very, very Not so she had her brother had a home on family land, and she had attached a domicile to that, like a simple 1-bedroom, whatever. And that's where he lived rent free while he then built on another part of the family land. So he never paid rent. He never did that. And that's not the only place or only woman he's never paid rent to live with here. So that's just all there is to it. Oh, he has really embarrassed the Filipino culture of borrowing money and never paying it back. He didn't, you know what? I'm going to go into this after we cover some of these other pieces and parts about how much money he's never paid back, even though he claims to have repaid everybody. And that is another absolute lie. All right. So he claims Arlene has no idea what money is all about. Well, look, John, my wife worked for a living before I met her, supported her family before I met her, and was fully independent before I met her. She still takes care of her family. All right. And I'm going to tell you something, John. You don't even have a bank account in your name. Your pension in Australia goes into a bank account under somebody else's name. My wife has a bank account in the Philippines. She has bank accounts in the US. All right. She my wife knows money. All right. And I make it a point to teach my wife money. It's important, all right? Because just like my daughter, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that my wife has all the tools that I can provide, all right? That I can afford to provide or that I can provide, including knowledge on top of just money, all right? To in turn have a successful life after I die. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I have some very, very direct questions for John, but apparently he still isn't going to do it. Ashley Love sends good morning from Melbourne, Australia. I'm here for the United States. Oh, Ashley, it's not US versus UK. It's just me versus kumquat. All right, little Kiwi boy, whatever. Chicken Joker. Oh, and by the way, Ashley, thank you so much for dropping in. We certainly appreciate it. Chicken Choker. But it was his mom's gerbil. Okay. Embraced. Sorry, typo. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's going to be typos in some of this stuff. I had a lot going on when I put this together, and so I was kind of stretched on time. Michael, the silver spoon comment did not hit a nerve. It hit his prostate head on. Well, sorry. Amigo, good morning, amigo. I saw the video. He's just a miserable old man. He has been a miserable old man since before he got here. Okay. So John says, Arlene, so he's now still ragging on Arlene, okay? He's ragging, he says, oh yeah, you built her a house and 70,000 kilometers away from her family. Okay. This is why you can't be a legitimate supporter of John when you take everything he says as being accurate, much less truthful. Okay. So John, 70,000 kilometers, that's 43,400 odd miles. All right. The entire circumference of the planet Earth. All right. is 40,000 kilometers. That's approximately 25,000 miles. I guess John thinks we built the province house on the International Space Station because that's about 40,000 kilometers up, okay? Or 60,000 or something like that. It's up there. No, John, our Lynn's house, the house that we built, that I built, that she built because she was fully involved in it, okay? And the land, that is literally about 250 yards from her family home. 250 yards. All right? Yards. Not miles, not kilometers. 70,000 kilometers, John? What were you smoking when you made that video? John's saying I shouldn't have invested money in a house. So what's wrong with providing a future for my wife? Are you kidding me? First off, here we are being a hypocrite. He built a house for a woman he wasn't even married to. He built a house on land that did not have his name on the title. Now, granted, my name is on the title on our home property, but it means nothing. I personally cannot own land in the Philippines. Sort of. Okay. There are ways to own land in the Philippines for foreigners, but John, people quote the Philippine Constitution, and you know what? They forget the amendments. There are amendments that allow foreign corporations to be 100% owned by foreigners, and there are ways that those foreign held corporations can own land in the Philippines. It's called the Foreign Investment Act of 2022, something like that. But that's a whole different thing. I'm not going to go into it. All right. But John did the same thing. But he didn't bother to put his name on the land title. And I wonder whether she actually owns that section of land that John built that house on. But he's a hypocrite. All right. But partners, I will give him credit. Partners who love each other do everything they can to build a future for their partner. Why wouldn't I do something that I think is going to benefit my wife down the road? Why not? My wife loves the city, but she loves the province too. She has no family here, but she has family there. And when I die, she may want to go there and live full time. So we built a house so that she would not have to worry about living in somebody else's house. She would not have to worry about the security of a well-built facility. She would not have to worry about paying rent. All right? Why wouldn't people do it? What does John get off on this ignorant, rude, misogynistic shit? It just blows me away sometimes. I mean, I wonder if he hates women. So then he starts to complain about our condo. And again, this is an asset. When I die, my wife has the choice. Live in the condo, rent the condo, sell the condo. That's all up to her. But it's for her future. Okay? And if during the period of the time that I'm alive, it can appreciate in value, which I doubt. Okay? Let's be honest. But at the same time, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with doing that? I don't get it, John. I really don't. Sometimes people who hold bitterness for a long time can be delusional in a sense and not believe they are bitter at all. It's like an alcoholic denying they have. Well, that brings up another issue. That brings up another issue. There are those out there that have contacted me that say John is a recovering alcoholic. I don't know if it's true. It's alleged. I have no idea. All right. But maybe that's part of his bitterness. Who knows? I got no idea. Amiga, Captain, we must hold a seance. Why travel? Why travel? The problem with both Mike and John is they shouldn't let anyone, and you know what? Why travel? That's true. That is true. I'm not going to argue with that at all. It's your biz how and when you pay the IRS. Yeah, but I wanted to show, Jeff, or release, that I was prepared. I had the funds available, that these things happen. And this is how you deal with this should you, as one of my subscribers, run into the same problem. We are all subject to making mistakes, right? Everyone, please don't hit, okay? Everyone, show me a person that doesn't skim the IRS and I'll show you a liar or an idiot. Well, I will honestly tell you this, McLovin. I've never cheated on my taxes, not once. But I had a brilliant CPA. And enough said. Where is John living now? Didn't his wife throw him in the street? No. So technically, and according to John, his ex-partner, the first one, is allowing him to live in part of the house that John built up in Negillion. All right. But that's since he got pretty much thrown on his ass. All right. He can't even show his face in Bulacan. So his his partner, there was a domestic issue between the two of them. And we'll leave it at that because I don't want this woman to be criticized. Okay. Although John did bring her on a live stream one time and introduce her as his whore. So you can imagine what happened to their relationship. So he ends up moving in with a lady that he met through a mutual friend down in Bulacan, where he, again, didn't pay rent, didn't do any, I think he did some tile work on the floor, maybe some minor shit, okay? This woman has a beautiful home. She's supposedly, and we're not going to identify her either. So now he's run away again, and he's run back up to Negillion, where his ex-partner allows him to reside in a small portion of the home that John built and spent his money on. Hit the like. Philippines Andics, good morning, Heidi and George. Good morning. So true on skimming or going by thumbnails of trolls and drama. Liar YouTubers. We enjoy your channel. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, George and Heidi. Release. Arlene is adorable. My wife is I love my wife and I think she's beautiful. And I have never once cheated on my wife. Not ever once. Okay. Actually, I've always been a faithful guy. I never cheated on any of my wife, ex-wife number one or ex-wife number two. Ex-wife number one got married way too young. I was still in school. That just didn't work out. We stayed married for 3 years. Ex-wife number two, we stayed married for 17 and a half years. Fair morning, everybody. Whoever feels the need to bring up Heidi and her problems, go right on ahead. I'm not. All right, D-Web, no. That is not what this is about. That is not it. All right. I know you have an issue with them, but No, we're not going to do that. Not in this channel. Okay, Dave, you know better. 93 watching, only 26 likes. Yeah, but you know what kills me? I don't have a thumbs down yet. What is the deal here? Why? I mean, usually I have a thumbs down 10 minutes into my live stream. John's in there, or one of his trolls is in there, and they thumbs down me. But who knows? Hold on, I have to check just one thing here. I have on. Okay. I needed to check something. I apologize. Okay. Bill, good thing John doesn't live in Duma. They take that YouTube channel stuff. Oh yeah. You know what? John can run his mouth all he wants. That's fine with me. And I'm an easygoing guy. I really and truly am. I believe that there's room for people. There we go. There's my good thumbs down. Thank you, John. I'm an easygoing guy. I believe that people are going to have different opinions. And I believe those different opinions are open to discussion. That's what mature adults do. Come on, John. I'm holding it open for you. Your spot's right there to the right. So, I don't know how the guys in Duma are. I really and truly do not. There's plenty of videos with Arlen. Yes, there are. There are tons of videos with Arlen. I can't help it, John. But hey, what can I say? So John's claiming I'm a millionaire, that I claim to be a millionaire. However, that's not true. I have never claimed to have $1 million. How much money I have is nobody's business, but I don't claim to have $1 million. I have had multi-million-dollar companies, but for those of you that understand business, owning a company and what it's worth and what you individually are worth are two different things. I'm not a millionaire, but John has claimed he's a millionaire. You see, 6 months ago, or so, sometime in the past 6 months, I can't remember when, John put out a video about, hey, my old age pension from, it was either Australia or New Zealand, got screwed up and they fixed it. And I just got my back pay and now I'm a millionaire. And he left that video up for all of about 2 hours. All of about 2 hours. And then he took it down because then he realized, wait a minute, I'm in Bulacan and I owe a ton of people money here and I'm not paying them. And I'm not going to pay them. And he has said that. He has said he's not going to pay them. They gave generously. All right. I mean, in the video, he talked about how he could travel and he was thinking about going home to New Zealand and visiting with his new millions. And he stayed up for about 2 hours. All right. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. All right. But he took it down. He took it down. John, I think you should move to Iran. I heard they dropped rent by 99%. Yeah, I imagine rent in Iran's kind of cheap. The exchange rate, even on his pension, which is less than 100,000 pesos a month, okay? Even on that pension, he could live pretty well in Iran. So then he says, now he's saying I have a long-suffering wife and that Arlene's going to be the winner in the end. And I'm going to tell you, Arlene's not long-suffering. Otherwise, she would have just walked away. Okay? Her money is in her name. Her money is in her name. Let's be real clear about that. Her money is in her name. And she has access to my money. Arlene could walk up to the bank today and wipe me out. So if she's suffering, must not be very bad. Then she's saying Arlene's going to be the winner in the end. Well, no shit, numbnuts. All right? No shit, she's going to be the winner in the end. That's the whole idea with a partner, having a wife, having somebody you care about. You want them to be a winner. I should be so lucky that my wife is going to be a winner. Do you want your wife to be a loser? Do you want, obviously didn't care about either one of the partners that he lived with here recently. Okay. 116 watching. Yeah, we've had a good turnout so far, but not John. When old timers fight, you know Metamucil spew won't be long. What happened to your mom in the past was common in Canada. Yeah, I don't know all the particulars. It's not something I really delved into. She immigrated from France. All right. She actually became a Canadian citizen prior to then ending up immigrating by family immigration to the United States and became a U.S. citizen. And then she met my father, all right, which that also is a totally different story, a whole different story. Don't mess with an angry Spartan, Greek warriors. Yeah. I understand John attacked your family, but Heidi has made fun of it. Yeah, but that's between them and somebody else. I'm not here to talk about Heidi's content and George's channel and Heidi's channel. That's not what I'm here for. Okay? That's not what it's about. Whether you agree, disagree, whatever. Spartans were gay. Fact. You've been just watching the 300 too much. Helping your kids through college is called being a good parent. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Wade. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. I want my child to have better opportunities than I had. Now, I will tell you, I come from a very, very middle income family. When we first moved, like I was born in the United States, I was raised in Asia. When we first moved to the United States, we lived in a single wide trailer. John went on vacations to Europe and everywhere else. I sat in the back of a Oldsmobile station wagon and drove 8 to 10 hours to Florida for my vacations as a kid. I have actually stayed at Candy Palace. I found the gold fixtures or an ice. Yeah, it can be. The diamond buttons in the elevator. You know what? I don't have a problem with the elevator buttons. All right. But I'm pretty sure they're platinum. I'm pretty sure they're not real diamonds. I don't know. But if you tell them real diamonds, John might be down here scraping them out. John lives without ivory. Ivory soap. I don't know, John. All right. Because I'm saving some stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm saving some stuff because I know he's going to go ballistic over this. I know I've hit a nerve. I know it. And so I'm going to do that. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to open the panel shortly because John obviously is not coming. I have documents. I have emails. I have messengers with John. All right. I have firsthand people that know John that have so much information and told me so much that it is absolutely ludicrous. Mango Catch, those videos were scrubbed. Didn't happen, right? This is must-see TV. By the way, Smooth Lee is nothing but an ignorant bully. Not sure why you embrace it. I like Smooth Lee, Brent. I really do. He supports a child, provides a great great childhood to his child and provides for his future, married to a Filipina, he lives a successful life. Why wouldn't I embrace that? The recruiting office is open to everyone. Brent, please don't attack anyone in the live chat. She thinks people forgot. Hello, buddy. Greetings from Smooth. Good morning. All right, so I'm gonna hope you fly her over first class, because on my flight I peeked behind the curtain and those people look, yeah. I would say something, but then John's going to come after me again about spending money worthlessly. So we'll leave it at that. Chicken choker, take care. That's a good way to lose weight. McLevin, I was quite comfortable. Didn't stare at me. Next flight. Don't stare at me. I thought it was you. Sick grandpa will have a field day. I don't know. I have no idea. So he does rag on the fact that I know sick grandpa, that I've had dinner with sick grandpa. You know what? First off, sick grandpa in person is not sick grandpa on TV. He is articulate, intelligent, and a nice guy. Uh-oh. So my wife's, no, I'm not going to repeat that, Arlen. I'm not going to repeat that. Okay. So then he says, my little 8,000 subs is nothing to crow about. Well, you know what, John? You're the one that brought up my 8,000 subs. I didn't say a word, although somebody did congratulate me on it. And I said, thank you. I didn't bring it up. I'm not in a subscriber race. Okay, John? You know, it doesn't make my TT hard to have more subscribers than somebody else. Do I like it? Is it nice? Sure. We all do this because we have our own personal goals. We have, we want to think we've accomplished something. All right. And if we see that we accomplish something positive, not accomplish a lot, but something positive, it makes us feel better. You claim it's a hobby for you, yet you spew hate, vitriol. I mean, it just nonstop. Mike, the reason a person goes after your family is because they realize they can't get to you, just like a YouTube couple. Okay, so let me address that for just a second, okay? John, I live in John's head rent-free, and that includes all utilities, all right, and even a meal supplement. John's entire, if you look at the last couple of weeks, 30 days of John's videos, I'm 20+% of his videos. I don't even mention John, although once in a while I get a comment, I'll reply to that. I don't even mention John. I don't make videos about him, okay, until this whole thing erupted. I'm 20% of his freaking channel, all right? 20% of his content. And then if you take out the bashing he did on Stephen and the bashing he does on Bruce, both of which may very well have deserved it, I don't know, all right? But what's his content? Tampo, how to have a relationship with a Filipino, following the law. Following the law. Okay, John, you know what? You preached to everybody for years about following the law, yet you were breaking it nonstop. Nonstop. All right, and we're going to go into that very shortly. And then he starts to talk about his rapid growth. And then he talks about 4 million views. He talks about his previous channel that his ex-partner controls, kicked his ass out of, that he has no control over it. And then the fact that the money went to her, that's fine. That's great. All right? That's absolutely great. But you're a hypocrite, John. How can you bash me for something I didn't even say and then turn around and promote you? Because YouTube's a game for you. Just like you told Ian. Ian, get a YouTube channel. And then you got to cause drama, Ian. You got to get involved in drama. Look how I do this. Look how I get involved in drama. I go after people, and that's how I build subscribers, and it makes a little monthly income. But that's a whole nother story as well. How John, what John did with Ian is just crazy. His subs give good comments simply because he's banned anybody that disagrees with him. So, and that's the statement that he makes. Like, my subscribers give good comments. All right. They're intellectual. They're this, they're that. But it's because you ban people that question you and you remove bad comments. Who is Sick Grandpa? You'll have to do a search for him. Sick Grandpa is a professional troll. Who is this John guy? John, if you go to my previous video about this, there's a link to his channel in the description. He tries to be the wise grandfather, but he looks very, very childish. He's what he is. Manny, they don't give long-term visas to veterans for just being nice. They think about it. It's guaranteed expat with money every month with a pension. That's the expats he wants in the Philippines. I don't know. I've never had. I have a 13A visa. I don't know whether you have to show that you have an honorable discharge plus a minimum pension. That might be part of it too. So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't expect John to show up, but I was sure he would have 1 or 2 defenders on him. Oh, I'm sure they're here. I'm sure they're here. Metrics. How many meters? My wife and I have no children. All of our wealth, life savings will end up with her family in the Philippines. My family in the USA will not get a dime. And that's fine, Michael. They are wealthy just living in the USA. See, you know, what you do with your money is up to you. What I do with my money is up to me. What John does with his money, that's up to him. I don't say anything about that. Release Sick Grandpa. It's almost like a poet. John, go panel up, you wanker. He won't. It's obvious he's not going to. Condo is interesting to meet. To most guys who struggle to pay $3,000 a month rent for a 2-bedroom, no pool, no housekeeper, no gym. Condo costs $400 a month in the Philippines. Very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't rent. I own our condo. But I just don't know. I know we have multiple pools. We live in a Candy Resorts, which is multiple buildings, multiple pools, multiple restaurants, all right, stores, all 9 yards. Mike, I'm sure they appreciate your generosity and don't take advantage of you behind your back. I don't know. I'm generous to Arlene and to my daughter. That's where my charitable giving concentrates on my wife and my daughter. Do I have charitable giving beyond that? Yeah, but that's nobody's business. That's crazy how John worried about how another man lives his life. Oh, he does, Ty. He does. Absolutely. Let me get on down. All right. So now he says this is my final comment, Mike. John needs to learn a little bit more history because then he rambles on. And you know how John loves to ramble. And he talks about how Australia was, criminals were shipped there, and some Australians are proud to have that heritage. Well, guess what? The British were sending their criminals to America long before they sent them to Australia. Long before. Okay? John, you need to learn a little history. We got a lot of Australian criminals that came over, or those convicted in Australia. Okay? England sent 50 to 60,000 criminals and convicts to the American colonies between the early 1600s and 1776, which was long before any penal transportation to Australia began. England sent, I got that already. Sorry. Then he starts to about the fact that I only gave antics $100, that I should have given them at least $1,000, that I have the money, why shouldn't I do it, supposedly, and that I didn't give it because other people would ask for money. Well, John, let me explain something to you. This goes directly to your comment about Bruce as well. We'll address this. So there's another Brit who's overstay, who has no money, who lives an incredibly, incredibly meager life. His name is Paul Reg Bruce, or Paul Bruce Reg, or something like that. Okay? And John won't give him money because he feels that, he says, I don't feel that Bruce would be in a mindset to help himself. Yet perhaps a meal might be nice for him, John. You couldn't give him enough money? I mean, the guy lives on simple donations, all right, and picking mangoes off the ground. Send him $20 for a goddamn meal. He's a fellow Brit. You can't even do squat for him. But let's talk about antics for a second, John. Let's clear the issues there. I gave Heidi $100 towards her go-get funding. How she uses it, I don't care. Makes no difference to me whatsoever. The woman is sick. Whether you agree or disagree doesn't matter. Whether it's extensive or whatever doesn't matter. I gave her $100. And that's all I'm going to give. Because I think that my money is better spent with my daughter and my wife's future. I'm not worried about Heidi's future, John. I could care less. I don't live with Heidi. I don't sleep with Heidi. I don't bump uglies with Heidi. I don't do any of that. I've met her once in my entire life. She's banned me from her channel 4 times over the years over simple disagreements. And YouTubers do that. Okay? I have no animosity. But my money is better spent with my wife and child. Isn't that who I should be looking out for? And then he says, I could write it off as a corporate tax dodge. Yeah, talk about dodging shit legal. Okay, here's John, who lived with a woman for 10 years, that John admits and tells a story that she was on government disability scamming, that there was nothing wrong with this woman's back, that she scammed disability for 10 years. And he tells me I should do a corporate tax dodge. A corporate tax dodge? Really, John? Are you insinuating illegal activities? But you are. So he says then he's done slagging me off. Oh, there's a typo. It says I'm the lowest of lows. Then he insults Arlene again. He's a petty man who has so many mommy issues. He's simply jealous of almost everyone who won't suck up to him. All right. Now I am going to paste this again. All right. And then we're going to get into this piece. So, one of several things. So, as some of you may know, I owned a gentleman's club in Arizona. Back before my daughter was born, I sold it. There's a video about this, but the bottom line is this. I bought a piece of property. In order to buy the property, I had to buy the club. All right. It had a Circle K gas station on one side, on one corner, then a gentleman's club, and then a little strip center had like 7 stores. Okay. Backed up to a parking area right on a main street. Yes, I did. I did own a gentleman's club. And then he says, no, mate, you owned a knocking shop. Okay. So I had to look this up because this is apparently British and Australian slang. A knocking shop. A knocking shop is a British, Australian, New Zealand slang for a brothel, an establishment where clients pay for sexual services. Okay, John, that's libel. Okay? That is libel. And now I'm weighing my options on that because, John, you have an incredible file over at immigration. I wonder, I start to think, gee, and I've already recorded your video, so don't worry, okay? You can't just take it down and walk away. I wonder if I went to one of my attorneys and I said, I want to file a cyber libel charge against John. He's insinuating I owned a brothel. And just so you know, John, I've covered this before. You know this. Brothels in the United States are only legal in, I think it's 2 counties in Nevada. All right? Not in Arizona. Owning a brothel outside the legal law is a felony offense in the United States. I own this gentleman's club, and during the entire time that I owned it, I never had a single legal law violation. Okay? I had like 2 violations from the liquor board. One of, and these are simple things. I think they came into the club one time, like we used to have to close that club. Now, I didn't run my club. I had managers, and they came in, ABC came in, Arizona Beverage Control, came into the club at 10 minutes after 1 in the morning when it's technically closed, and the liquor cabinets weren't locked. I got a violation there. I got another violation, and it really wasn't my fault, but there was a patron who on his table, he had 3 pitchers of beer, and that's against the law. That was against the Arizona law. You can't have more than 1 pitcher of beer at a time in a gentleman's club. I had no other violations whatsoever, John, but you just accused me of a felony. You just made an accusation to the public, all right, of breaking and committing a felony. All right? Now I'm going to weigh my options on that shit. Because what I would do is I wouldn't even pursue the cyber libel because you'd have to prove damages and stuff like that to recomp. And he has nothing. John doesn't have shit. He doesn't have a pot to piss in. But what John does have, John has a very, very large file down at immigration. So for those of you that missed this or don't know this, John overstayed here in the Philippines for 7+ years. He came to the Philippines and never left. And I have sources. What can I say? I know people. And with that being said, okay, I know people. I've seen the letter that John delivered to JRC for JRC to pull their strings to get immigration to get his fines cut back, all right, to get everything reduced as much as possible, and then have him take care of it. And though John will tell you the story about how he did his visa run to Thailand. What did John do? John didn't do a visa run. John was deported. John was escorted by immigration, all right, accompanied by immigration onto an airplane, and the staff was told him, don't you dare let him off this plane until it lands in Thailand. And then, where's John go? You ever been to Thailand before? John goes straight to Soy Cowboy, all right, to the red light district, and starts making a video. Yeah, John, we know you, and we have much, much more. So let's, John lives wherever night catches him and expects to be waited on hand and foot. And that is something true. So John moves in with this woman, all right, in Bulacan. And I'm not going to mention her name. You think John paid rent? No. Do you think John, paid for the groceries? No. He may have bought a few groceries here and there and his little sodas here and there. But according to the people that, how can I say this? I have to be very, very careful how I say this, all right? Because I don't want to get somebody in trouble. So according to what I would consider extremely reliable sources, first-hand, first-person sources, John didn't pay her rent. She contributed to pay John's overstay. John didn't. Okay, so let's go through all this process. Expats paid for John's hearing test, paid for John's hearing aids, paid for John's cell phone, paid for John, because when John had to then clear up this issue of his overstay, his passports also had expired. They paid to get his passport, his Australian passport, because he had to have that in order to get a stamp in order to get back on track. Okay. Now, during that entire period of time, which took about a year, all right, the better part of so, he's collecting his pension, collecting his YouTube money, and then turned around. He didn't pay rent to this woman. She washed his clothes. She cooked his meals. She cleaned the house. She fed him. She slept with him. All right, the whole 9 yards. And then it was funny. If you want to, you go back and look at his videos. This woman who was married to a Brit, okay? She was married to a British guy that was an English professor. All right. And let's see here. Who is this? Guest is in. I don't know who Joe 3 Harabao is. All right. But, all right, hold on. Let me finish this and we'll bring this up. We've opened up the green room. Okay. And so with all of that said, he is a predator. He preys on elderly. He's been with elderly women, okay? And that's just all there is to it. So we're going to stop right there. We're going to find out. We have somebody that wants to come on the panel. So let us do this.
Hayden.
And then here, and let me get rid of this. Hi. Good morning. How are you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. So,
I don't know who John is, but yeah.
There we go. I got everything adjusted now.
Cool. All right. I don't know who John is, yeah, but I'm assuming you're a Christian, yes?
What?
I don't know who John is, but I'm assuming you're a Christian, yes?
Okay.
Like I'm a Christian.
You don't know who John is.
Are you a Christian?
Am I a?
Okay, I don't know who John is. Okay, I just put in live stream and I saw John's bad, British, and being a 1066 Norman who lives in Scotland, yeah, don't get much more British than that, do you? So I don't know who John is, but being a Christian, right? I'm just asking you, are you Christian?
Am I Christian? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Do I believe in do I believe in
no,
okay,
I asked you if you're Christian. If you're Christian, are you Christian? Like, I know Judaism is not Christianity, but I'm asking you, are you any form of Christianity? Are you a Christian?
I was baptized in the Greek Orthodox Church. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're ancient Christian. You're ancient Christian. You're Orthodox or Catholic, which is the only two churches that could possibly be Jesus's church. Right?
So what does this have to do with John? Wait, Joe.
Well,
what does this have to do with John?
I'm asking the question. The question I'm asking is, as much as you might dislike John, I don't know who John is, and be under no illusions, I'm not here for like pro John. I'm just an outsider. I only found you by searching that keywords I said, and I'm asking you, what I asked you which Christian is, as much as we might dislike John and John's actions and whatnot, one of the only things that Jesus told us is be nice and do not judge. That's why I asked you if you're a Christian or whatnot.
Okay.
No, but do you understand where I'm coming from? I'm not being pedantic or facetious or any way, shape, or form. That's why
you
I
are.
asked you these. Well,
you are.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you are.
I'm
okay, look, you think I'm going to take shit from you?
How do you square it away? No.
All right, look, you're going to come here and preach to me. You're going to tell me.
I'm not preaching.
Right, you're preaching.
A question.
You asked a question, then you quoted the Bible.
Questions are not preaching.
Come on.
Questions are not preaching.
Come on. You asked a question and then you quoted the Bible. You quoted the Bible.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that's preaching.
And then gave. No, it's not. I
quoted
the Bible to give you the context. To give you the excuse me. I gave you the context of the premise of the question. That's not preaching. That's giving you the premise of a question. And you said you were like me. I never asked if you were Orthodox or other, did I? No. See, the word of Jesus Christ is simple.
The word of Jesus Christ is simple. Yeah, is it?
You're fucked.
That's not what we're here to talk about.
You're fucked. You've been judging John. I'm the Gentiles. You're not one of us. You're not one of us.
Oh my God! They came out of the They come out of the absolute. I don't think I've ever had. I don't think I've ever had anybody like that. My God. All thumbs down means John is watching. John, and he's welcome to watch. I've seen Arlene before, and I think she is an AI character. Thank you, Pablo. Yeah, she's not real. I don't have a real wife. There we go. I have a cardboard cutout. I carry it around with me when I go on vacation. Good for John getting his choppers repaired. Let me try and catch up here. Pablo, yeah, he looks pretty good, man, compared to before. Arlene is a very nice woman and a damn good wife to me. I think it's safe to say that good Doc got himself. Yeah, I got lucky. I just got lucky, Dave. No, John's got no romantic involvement at this point. No, don't say that, Mike. Doesn't matter what you say, just send me the money. There you go. No, we don't make any money. My channel doesn't make money. All right. Which part of Greece do you hail from? I don't. My father's family does. All right. They come from the somewhere near Athens, but sort of like in the mountains, if that makes any sense. Sunset Travel, good morning. I'm glad you saved something. I'm like, oh my God. Oldsmobile founded in my hometown, Lansing, Michigan, 17 million. I got to tell you, man, we had an Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser station wagon. This thing was a boat. Slipped in, good morning, Mike, and everyone did. John show up. No, he never showed up. John is a no-show as expected, of course. James, John is here, but he's in the corner. Yeah, he's here. I mean, he's watching. There's no doubt about it. If John starts talking that his man, nah. John does this to get views. It's because both of, he said it in a comment. When he puts up my photos, when he puts up my stuff, he gets bigger views than he normally does. All right. And so fine. Good for him. Guy's voice reminds me of Boris Karloff. Doing well. What did have a city of free settlers, Adelaide? We weren't all criminals. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but that's what John's saying. John is just jealous having anyone living here in the Philippines that doesn't live his lifestyle. Yeah. All right. We came here to retire, not bail expats out from their stupid. Yeah, and John is one of those too. John's received hundreds of thousands of pesos in, hey, John, just pay me back when you have it. That he didn't, his hearing aid, his hearing test, his cell phone, all right, his JRC fees, I've seen the receipts that somebody paid for all this stuff. John's ex wears the pants. She just took over his YouTube channel. He cries in the fetal position. Whatever. I don't know who John is, but we have communicated many times. Go after her. You know what? When you're going to go after my daughter, you're going to go after my wife. That's one thing. You can call me whatever names you want to call me. John calls me Uncle Fester. That's fine. I don't care. John makes fun of me. That's fine. I don't care. I don't even watch his channel. People email me. But the amount of information that people have sent me, oh, John, and let me tell you, I am waiting now for the next video. Now, he released one yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to even look at it. But I'm going to wait for his reaction to this. And then I'm going to cut loose with some documentation that's absolutely brutal. Brutal. Okay? We are going to take John, and here's the problem. I actually walk a very fine line here. I don't want John deported. I don't want John in trouble. I don't want John's channel to disappear. But what I do want is for him to quit lying about my wife, about me, about my daughter, all right? To quit misrepresenting that. That's what I want. Yeah, that's for sure. Joe Haribo, but at the same time, Joe, you just are a rude guest, starting from the beginning. Eden Beaver. Honestly, Mike, I truly don't believe you have been to Soy Cowboy. It's a very religious district. My church is there. I'll be honest with you, Eden Beaver. I have no. I don't think I've ever been to Soy Cowboy. Um, I've only been to Bangkok proper twice, and neither time did I go to Soy Cowboy. Big Al in the Philippines. Good morning to you and everyone from Kalinga. Manny, I wonder if someone who had the means and the will could send a private investigator to find out about his neighbors. And I wonder if said neighbors would write statements about, who knows? And I would never do that. I don't want to do that. All right. I can tell you I'm in contact with very close people of John's. Are they family, ex-family? Are they neighbors? Are they relationships? Are they children that he doesn't even talk? I mean, you know, John has multiple children that he is totally estranged from. Totally. Just walked away from them in life. Something tells me John has a lot of enemies near him. He can't even show his face in Bulacan. He is afraid for his physical safety in Bulacan after the shit he pulled down there. Something tells me John, oh yeah. I retired at age 53 as a USPS executive, federal pension, Social Security, 100% veteran disability, 7-figure TSP. John was so upset what I got saying it's not right, should be mean tested. Yeah, no shit. He's real big on that because I think England does means testing, I think. So yeah. But then he doesn't get a British pension. I'm not even sure. That'd be interesting, John. Do you still have a British passport? Do you have a British passport that's legal at this point in time and up to date? Or do you just have an Australian and a New Zealand? I think you renewed your Australian and British ones, but I'm not sure. But I can find out. Dude looks like he's on Shabu. Yeah, he looked a little different. Seems like a poor choice of somebody to allow. Well, you know, Bruce, I can't, before I let him on, I can see just a tiny thumbnail. This gun is preaching, talking about Orthodox shill. Yeah, I don't know. We're not here to talk about religion. So John didn't accomplish much. Well, that wasn't John. Love these weird guys. Yeah, I don't like them. Don't argue with an idiot. And I did. There. His gig is an idiot. Thumbs down on this guy. No kidding. Well, that was crazy. The Evangelizing 101, rather poorly, I might add. Yeah. But Joe Paul, I don't even, you know what? It's not a religious channel. It wasn't my guest. He dropped in. I'm waiting. There's another possible guest. A lot of craziness goes to Asia. Yeah, but I think he said he was in Ireland. Greeks are great people. I have many of them as friends. There's a huge Greek population in New York. Huge. You can't say John has no romantic life. You can't see him when he's alone in the CR. Oh, Bruce. That was John's bastard. Nah, Big Al. Matt says, after watching YouTube, I'm staying in Michigan. I can't blame him. I can't blame you, Matt. Who is Mad Matt? You know what? Mad Matt is another blogger. I don't follow him. I don't watch him. I know he has a beef with a couple of other YouTubers, but I don't know much other than that. Okay? So I'm skipping some of this casual stuff. I like the Mexican Clamito on 127 Northland. Birria. I love good birria tacos. They're hard to come by. Beat on. John is a creepy old cliche who failed miserably. He's a coward, will never let you confront him. He's all those things you say. He's much more than I've said. I'm holding back some. I'm holding back documents. I'm holding back letters. I'm holding back so much because I know he's going to go forward, and then I'm going to let it all rip. Because it's not doxing him. It's not cyber libel. Nothing I said isn't true. Not sure of that place. Olympic Royal was amazing. Matt Smith still is, sitting in a parking lot now. So here is the link. All right. If you want to cam up, if you want to come on and start asking questions, making statements, if you're a supporter of John's, if you have experience with John, if you've been to his channel and have experience with John, cam up and tell us. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm not correct in standing up for my family and not standing up for my wife and my daughter, all right, then cam up. Cam up. Oh, it's the bully. Philly in the Philippines is here. Yeah, John called you a bully. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Philly. How are you? Yeah. So, Dano, just so you know, so according to John, all corrections officers are wannabe cops and they're all bullies. That's according to John. That's in the video he did about me. John might be batshit crazy. You know what? He might be. He very well might be. I'm not worried about him. I truly am not. I'm not worried about of John, and that's just the bottom line. I've been told, all right, of experiences, which that's just all there is to it. Tony M. Snow Road is cool pizza. Good deal. Good deal. So there we go. John didn't bother to show up. All right. John didn't have the guts. All right. He wasn't man enough to stand by what he says. So we said. And if John isn't willing to have a conversation like real men do, but John's not a real man. That's part of the problem. He's failed every relationship he's ever had. Every relationship he's ever had, he's failed. I mean, granted, amongst expats, we've all failed relationships. But some of us are still doing quite well. Philly's in a great relationship. Dano's in a great relationship. I'm in a great relationship. Other subscribers of my channel, Jim, James Gilbert is in a great relationship. Okay? But John has failed every single relationship. He's left a trail of children that he doesn't support, that he doesn't care about, that is totally estranged from. He's done so much to turn around, and at the same time, he has literally, and this is why I call John a predator. John's operanda, his theory, the way John works. Look at his life. Look at his life since he moved here. John meets these elderly Filipino women. And when I say elderly, over the age of 50. Okay? And he mooches off of them. All right? He gets involved with them. He didn't pay rent where he lived to begin with, but he did build her a house. I'll give him credit for that. Okay? When he moved to Negillion, he didn't pay her rent. He literally lives off of them and then turns around and bolts. And, think about it for, so many of our So many of our subscribers are our age. And so our mothers are much older. But suppose you were 25 years old and your mother was in her 50s and this guy was living for free. Your mother was washing his clothes, all right, doing everything, and he wasn't contributing for rent. He wasn't contributing food. He wasn't doing anything, all right. He sucks these women's finances dry. Isn't that a predator too? Isn't that a problem? These, if your mother was 20 years old, let's say you were like these typical expat age gap relationships, guys 50, girls 20, he's an asshole, all right? Well, he only ruined her life for so long, okay? And she has 40 years to recover. But John ruining the lives of 50-year-old women, they don't have that recovery period. Okay? That's why I call him a predator. Bill says, does he live alone? He seems very lonely. Oh, he is. Look at his stuff. He is so desperate. It is so just funny. Kuya Slick Rick. Hey, Tayshawn. I've been with my girlfriend for 11 years. Exactly. Beat on. John is so jealous of anyone with money. He can't handle people living much better life than him, which is most expats. He's an old, sad cliche. Yeah. Somebody got to show those grannies love. Players got to play. Yeah, but you don't got to live off of them. Come on. Aren't you going to at least help Granny with some of the money? Aren't you going to help pay rent at Granny's place? Gab, no, John should not reproduce ever again. He's had his own Special Olympics basketball team. Man, I was in the Navy and I enjoyed Filipino sailors. They're always invited me to family events. Filipinos are very generous, very loving, very nice people for the most part. All right. I would say the same thing about Americans for the most part. There's always bad apples somewhere. Okay. But at the same time, at the very same time, how did I miss? There we go. Brewmeister made it. Good morning, Brew. How are you? Thanks for dropping in. Brooks Rick is here. Thanks for dropping by. So Kuya John didn't show up. Nothing we can do. No way to deal with it. There's not a whole lot. So let us put the link back up one more time here. If you would like to cam up, if you would like to discuss John, if you have information about John, if you have anything to say about John, follow the link. I will bring you on. If you're going to preach religion to me, not so much. All right? Not a whole lot I can do about that. All things aside, John, don't go after my family. Don't do it. All right? You're biting off something that isn't worth it in the long run. Because unfortunately, I'm not going to tolerate it. You don't want me to start dumping documents. And I will. I will absolutely dump documents, John. Maximus, how are you? How's things going? So, let's see here. Paul, who's Paul? I don't know, but we will do that. And we'll see who Paul is. I can't see, but we'll do this. Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Hi, Mike. I'm Paul, your CRNA friend.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's the first time we ever talked. I'm just really interested in who this John is because I've never saw his YouTube page, and of course, you and I have things in common. We're both in medical care for many years. Uh, and we're both highly educated, and we're probably both financially stable. Uh, but anyway, this guy really has you upset. It's apparent, and I'd like to know more about him.
So I don't want to wait a minute. Okay, hold on a minute. Brian is just really messing with me. I don't believe a word Mike's saying. I want to see the documents. Oh, trust me, Philly, it's going to happen. John is going to make a video and I'm going to drop a bombshell on him. Okay, that's it. So, John is a British expat that lives here in the Philippines. He and I got into it about 3.5 years ago when he started talking very poorly about how United States veterans received such generous benefits. Okay. And oh, wait. John is in the channel. Good morning, Mike. Dump them. No problem. Oh, trust me, John. It can happen. Come on, John. Cam up. Cam up. Be a man, John. Cam up. All right. So, with that being said, um, let me finish that. So, anyways, so if you go to my previous video, Paul, in the description, there's a link to his channel. Go there and you'll learn everything you need about John. Because I don't want to, I've just spent 2 hours going through it all with everybody. And I don't want to have to bore them with it. I'd rather get John to cam up. All right, he's in the channel. Come on and cam up, John. So,
Well,
all right, I'm gonna go back to. Go
can I
ahead. Sure.
let me tell you one thing. I was stationed at Clark Air Base from 1966 through 1967, and I lived on base. And about 14 years ago, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer. The kidney cancer spread to both my lungs. I go to MD Anderson in Houston, which you know is the
Oh,
top cancer
I know
center
him.
in the world.
I know him, Anderson.
And my oncologist uh, says he thinks that my kidney cancer was caused from drinking contaminated water at Clark Air Base. In 1999, they tested every well in the Philippines. This was 8 years after the base closed, and every well was contaminated with dioxin, which is an ingredient in Agent Orange.
Yeah.
I have submitted 2 or 3 to the VA that my cancer was caused by drinking contaminated water because I lived on base. I drank water from shallow wells, and it was always denied. So this guy's saying that that veterans get all these benefits. It's just not true. It's just absolutely not true. Uh, and fortunately, I'm in remission from all these cancers that I've had. And part of it is because, just like yourself, I was in healthcare for 50 years. I knew who to contact. Go.
Yeah. No, there's no
And the
doubt about it.
supplies.
So,
I've had tumors removed from both lungs. I had a kidney removed. I had half my colon removed. I had a radical prostatectomy. And he thinks that most of my cancers was caused from drinking contaminated water at Clark Air Base, which is incredibly well documented. But there's so many people stationed at Clark Air Base during the Vietnam War that it would be a catastrophe for the Veterans Administration to have to start paying for all the people. Most of the people have died because I'm one of the older survivors. I'll be 79 in a couple weeks. So I'm one of the older survivors. And I went there when I was 18 years old. So,
Okay, I've
and
got to go,
they have,
Paul. Paul, I've got to go address this. Okay, I've got to go
okay,
address this comment here. Okay,
okay.
so let me address that comment. Okay, John, man up. Number one, I didn't say I had inside government info. Okay, no, that's not what I said, dumbass. All right, I said I have information. And when I release those documents, they're not going to have your name on them. All right. I'm not going to dox you. And if the documents are provided to me, I'm not of any risk. Now, you, John, you are at risk. You're at big risk, buddy. You cyber libeled me. You accused me of committing a felony crime. All right. And your immigration file ain't skinny. And you know what? I am so much ready. Okay. Um, I'm so ready to just go to the attorney, file a cyber libel paperwork, not pursue it because you've got no money. And then turn around and send a copy of that to immigration. And then what's going to happen? All right, when that happens, John, is that what you want? Yeah. So, with all of that being said, John, you have a big mouth. You talk a big game. You're a liar. You're a scammer. Come on, John. You're there in the channel right now. You've got the opportunity to address these issues. Now, we'll talk about the woman in not Nagilian, in Bulacan. We'll just call her L. All right? I don't want to mention her name. Did you pay her rent, John? Come on. Tell everybody in the channel right now. Did you pay her rent? No, you didn't. All right? Oh, John, did people pay other people? You didn't pay out of your own pocket for your hearing test, your hearing aids, all right? Nothing. You're a nobody, John. Don't push it. I'll start pulling out all the stops. I certainly will. Okay? I won't do it. Okay? You can say what you want about me, John. You can. But when you go after my wife and my daughter, I will not tolerate it. I absolutely will not. My wife is a Filipino citizen. We'll rain hell down on you. I know where you live. I know where you used to live. Finding you is no problem. So, man up. Man up, John. Either man up or go away. One or the other. All right? I'm willing to have a very mature conversation with you about why you dislike me. What have I done? What have I done? I've never given out misinformation like you do. I've never lied about you like you do. All right? So, just tell me. Just tell me, John. Yeah, because, you have to worry, John. You're living with somebody that works for the LGU. What kind of scrutiny is she going to get? No, there's nothing about control. I'm not asking you. No, don't confuse me with others. All right. I'm not asking you to take take your videos down. I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm not asking you to not talk about me. I don't care. Leave my wife and my daughter out of it. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Oh, the comments on my phone are getting funny. No, John, look, John, in all honesty, you're here. Let's talk about it. You're here in the channel. Let's talk about it, John. Let's talk about who paid for your Australian passport. Let's talk about who paid JRC's fees. Let's talk about all of those things. Let's talk about how you point blanketly have stated you're not paying them back. Okay? Let's talk about it. You know, let's talk about who, oh, you know what? Let's talk about your colonoscopy scam. Let's talk about that, your endoscopy scam. All right, where you said you were having rectal bleeding and you had this and that. Let's talk about that scam. Of course, we have to go all the way back to Israel to find that, but yeah, John, absolutely. I see John. There he is. It's all about control for me. No, it's not. I don't control anybody. I'm a nobody channel, John. Remember? I'm a nothing. Nothing. That's what you said. And that's true. Our channel is mice nuts. We are a nobody, John. We are an absolute nobody. Okay? So be it. Now, you do have options. Leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. Okay? I can do that. You do have options, John. All right? But come after my family. You know, unlike you, John, I have a huge responsibility in my heart to my families. Okay? Unlike you, you've walked away from your kids, you're estranged from kids, all right? Unlike you, you know, I will stand up for my family, even though you that entire concept may be very foreign to you. There's the link again. Too bad, John. Sorry, there's no soup line here in the Philippines. Billy Jack. No, I come on, John. Just talk about it, gentlemen. No fist fights. I heard Philsdale's not. No, I have no intention of any physical confrontation whatsoever. And I don't think John does either. I think John is a very pacifist individual. He runs away from confrontation. Even this, if he can't man up on camera, he certainly is going to be very difficult for him to physically do anything. Hang on. I'm getting so many different messages. So John, man up or leave me out. You don't have to take down videos. You don't have to do any of that. I never attacked you, or I haven't in the past year or so. Okay. I don't make videos about you. You make them about me all the time. I live in your head. I'm over 20% of your content this month. That's how desperate you are. Leave me and my family alone. That's all. Leave us alone. I'll leave you alone. Otherwise, I'm not interested in being nice. And I won't be. I will pursue this down every ethical avenue there is. And it won't be just you. Matt Smith, the daughter-in-law working Michael, Matt Smith, the daughter-in-law working cash is Filipino. Her husband is Thai, my wife's from. Okay. Rectal bleeding. Yeah, Brian. Hemorrhoids, who knows? I got no idea because it wasn't him. He lied about that too. All right. But he collected money from it. He got those PayPals. Same with Thai takeout place. Same marriage situation. Preparation H. Wow, the live is still going. John is in the channel. He just won't come here. All right. Mike, you announced to the world you had a gentleman's club, not me, but at least you accept that in the UK, New Zealand, Australia, that's the definition. It means no effing different. No, John. No, you're full of shit. Okay. A gentleman's club, there is no legal, all right, there's no legal, I don't give a shit what it is. You're the one that said brothel. You're the one that said, gentlemen, you're the one that said a knocking shop, all right, a knocking shop. That's what you said. Your ass, no, John, don't even start. Don't even start trying to get defensive on that. You called it a knocking shop. I owned a legal gentleman's club licensed by the state of Arizona, the Arizona Beverage Control, all right, and a corporate entity. You called it a knocking shop, which is a place where prostitution and sex is sold. That is not what it is. You accused me of a felony. I didn't have that. Nope. Man. Not at all, John. Mike, no one is going after your family, and you know that. But if you feel that, I can't change it. John, don't be telling me I shouldn't be supporting my daughter, which you did. Don't call her disadvantaged, which you did. Don't tell Arlene that she's long suffering, which you did. Those are all direct quotes, John. Do I need to go on? Okay. You called your partner a whore on a live stream. You brought your partner on a live stream and called her a whore. And not my live stream. I would have never tolerated that. I have a big issue with Wi-Fi who bashes small channels like mine and others. Yeah. I don't. I mean, Big Al, I don't know. I don't bash your channel, that's for sure. Question for John. Is that why you hate Americans so much? Because your American mom left you nothing? Did you feel? John has huge mommy issues. John has not just mommy issues with his adoptive mother. He has mommy issues with his biological mother, which we could go into as well. But we won't, because I don't want to do that. I don't want it to dribble down to that. I don't want to talk about them. I want to talk about John. Don't ever mess with a man's child, especially his only child. Yes, my only child. I kid you not, John, if I had a choice, all I can say is probably the only thing that could drive me to violence would be if felt my wife or my daughter were being threatened physically. Did John pay his hoe rent? I got no idea. Correction, he called her a hoe. I don't know. John, I'm not going to. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. I hope that fixes it. Okay. So now, let's see. Should be fixed now. Should be okay. So, anyways, in the chat, people, not even channel moderators or the host, is it still buzzing? Arlen, is my chat still buzzing? Working now. All right. So Arlen says it's fine. In the chat, okay, people started referring to her as a 404, which is slang, internet slang for a whore. And she got pissed about it. And I don't know what drove John to then on the next live stream, he joined again on camera, brought her into the view of the camera, sat like right here, okay, right here, and said, "Oh, let me introduce." I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Wait a minute. Okay. Can everybody hear me now? All right. I had to switch microphones. I got a bad cable, I'm pretty sure. Can you hear me now? Should be able to hear me now. Should be. Let's see how bad the lag is. Arlen, can you hear me? Okay. Working now. All right. So I know he didn't mean it. I know that that's not, he didn't mean it verbatim. But that's what he did. Okay. Certainly, if you were his partner, I mean, what if your wife, your boyfriend, or your girlfriend introduced you online on a channel with 20,000 plus subscribers with over 200 people in that live stream and introduced you, all right, as my gigolo? This is my gigolo. This is my spare TT. Okay? All right? Wouldn't that be a little derogatory? I mean, come on. So let's get back to John. All right? John, look, you can come on. You can face all of this stuff. You can make another video and you can get ready for part 2. All right? Or you can just leave us alone. Leave my wife out of it. Leave my daughter out of it. And you know what? Leave me out of it. And I'll just be happy. That's fine. Okay? I'm a reasonable guy. Go after my wife and my daughter again. Oh, it will get ugly. It will get ugly. And you don't want that, John, because you are on the edge. Your immigration file ain't thin. You can't show your face in Bulacan, all right? You're afraid to even go to Bulacan. There are people in Nagilian that don't care for you, all right? Now, they're granted, all right, it's not a big deal, I'm sure, okay? And your current rooming situation is with a woman who has a job, all right, in the LGU. And she needs what little pension she's going to get. And there's an issue with her kids, too. Leave me out, John. Leave us out. You had your opportunity to cam up. You didn't. It's not a whole lot I can do about that. Okay? Yeah, the Dow closed Oh, John, you're such a big talker. 51,032. The Dow closed 51,032. Part two now. Don't be such a whip. No. You know what, John? All I got to do, it's up to you, John. It's up to you. I don't want to do a part two. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to do a part two. You're not worth the time and effort. You really and truly are not worth the time and effort, John. I don't care. Get it through your little brain, okay? You're not worth it to me. I have many other things to do, much better things to do, other things to take care of. All right, you've benefited enough, and will benefit enough of the clicks and the views and the subscribers. You want more? Hey, that being said, what I do in part two, it won't be on the internet, I doubt. If I have to start, John, my next move will be something else. Trust me. Trust me. All right? You've benefited enough. But you have to worry yourself. Listen to yourself. You're full of BS. What am I full of BS? What am I full of BS about? Deny it, John. Deny it. I want you right here to deny. Somebody else paid for your hearing test. Somebody else paid for your hearing aids. Somebody else paid for your phones. Somebody else paid for your Australian passport. Somebody else paid the upfront fees over at JRC. I want you to tell the woman that you were living with that actually you didn't even pay rent, actually gave you money for your immigration overstay. Now, you did return part of it to her, okay? And how you won't go to deny any of that. Deny it. All right. He's Bachelor Cool. We're small potatoes. He has more subs than both of those channels put together. Yeah, you do, Ace. You absolutely do. Good morning. How's that baby doing? I hope everything's going well. I really do. Okay, John's not going to show up. He's not going to deny it. He's not going to stand up for himself. That lets you all know, even in the chat, he won't deny it. Those are all true statements. So, and we have a way of knowing that they are. So, you're just on a roll. You're just on a roll. I'm not on a roll, John. I'm sitting in a chair. Are you blind? Do you need glasses now, too? Go ahead. E-beg for those. All right? E-beg for those, too. All right? Maybe you can get... You've already worn out your welcome in Bulacan. You did that in record time, 1 year. You know. You're not worth it. All right? Look, folks. The Ugly Tourist has started his 24-hour telethon, so I'm going to let everything go. Scotty, don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to believe John. Good for you, Scotty. I hope you do. I hope you do. Time for more popcorn. All right, I'm going to run. I've got other stuff to do. I need to stop by. All right. And you guys take care. Thank you for showing up. I'm sorry John disappointed you. And we'll just go forward. Thanks so much. Have a great day.